Okay, here's our first mixture example. Mixing 1 gallon of 100% apple juice with 1 gallon of water. How much total liquid results and what percent is juice? I'm going to try to draw a diagram that represents this problem. So here's our container that's going to hold our liquid. First, we're starting with water. And it says that we have 1 gallon of water. And then to that, we're going to add juice. So this is 1 gallon of apple juice, and it's 100% juice. That's important because later, when we do some where maybe that is watered down, that'll make a difference in our answer. Okay, first, we want to figure out the total amount of liquid. So the total liquid for this problem, we're taking 1 gallon of juice plus 1 gallon of water to get 2 gallons of liquid. Now we want to figure out what percent is juice. So to figure out the answer, we're going to say that x is equal to some part divided by a whole. So using this example, let's see if we can set up this equation. So the percent that we're looking for, well, we know the total amount of liquid is 2 gallons. So that's the total, or the whole. And the part in our mixture that's juice is 1 gallon. So I'm going to set up 1 gallon as the part in my equation. So now, if I change 1/2 to a decimal, this is 0.5. And we know that we can change this to a percent if we just move the decimal point 2 place values to the right, which means that we have 50% juice in our mixture. And that's the answer. The next question says, what if you mix 3 gallons of juice with 1 gallon of water? So let's draw a picture for this. So here's my container again. This time we're going to start with 3 gallons of juice and 1 gallon of water. So here's going to be my 1 gallon of water. And then to that we're adding 3 gallons of juice. And again, it's pure juice, it's 100% juice. So first we have to figure out the total liquid. So the total liquid for this example, we're taking 3 gallons plus 1 gallon to get 4 gallons total. So to solve for the percent that is juice in this example, I'm going to say that x is equal to some part over a whole. So we know that our total liquid is 4 gallons. That's going to be the denominator of this fraction. And the part that's juice is 3 gallons. So this time, we have 3 gallons divided by 4 gallons as a decimal. X is equal to 0.5. And by the way, notice that the units canceled out, so this doesn't have any units on it right now. But again, if we move the decimal point 2 place values, this is the same thing as saying 75% juice. And that's the answer. Okay, the next question says, if there is a mixture of 2 liters of 10% butterfat milk and 1 liter of skim milk, which is 0% butterfat, how many liters result and what is the percent butterfat? So let's draw a diagram of what's going on here. Here's our container with all the milk. So first we're going to start with 2 liters of milk, and this is 10% fat. And then to that we're going to add 1 liter of milk. So this is the 1 liter of skim milk, and skim milk has 0% fat. So just like the last few examples that we did, we're going to try to figure out the total amount of liquid first. So we're taking our 1 liter of skim milk plus our 2 liters of 10% milk to get a total of 3 liters of liquid. So now, just like before, we're trying to figure out what percent is fat. So to figure out the percent that's fat, we have to take some part and divide it by a whole. Okay, now we've got 3 liters of liquid total, so that's going to be the denominator. This is the 3 liters. The tricky part about this question is we have to figure out how many liters of this liquid is fat. And so that's going to take a little bit of side work to figure out. So 1 liter is 0% fat. So to figure out the amount, that's 1 liter multiplied times 0%. Plus, we have 2 liters, that's 10% fat. So if I take 2 liters and multiply it by 10%, that will give me some number of liters that's fat. So let's simplify this. This is the same thing as saying 1 times, well, 0% is still 0, plus 2 times 10% written as a decimal is 0.10. So when I simplify this, 0 times anything is 0, so that's still 0, and 2 times 0.10 is 0.2, which means 0.2 liters are just fat in this mixture. So I'm going to take that number and plug it in here. So 0.2 liters of our liquid is actually fat. So to get the answer, I'm going to use my calculator to figure out what 0.2 divided by 3 is. And I'm going to pull that up right now. So if I type in on my calculator, using the fraction key, 0.2 over 3, that gives me this decimal number. So it's 0.06 repeating. So let me write this out. This is the same thing as saying 0.067 approximately. So let me change this to an approximately equal to. And now that is the answer. We just want to try to write it as a percent. So this is the same thing as saying x is approximately 6.7% fat. And that's the answer.
Okay, so we are going to be doing this problem. It says if you pour 3/4 cups of creamer, which contains 12% fat, into 2.5 cups of coffee, first of all, how many cups will result? And then what is the percentage of fat that is in that mixture? All right, so let's start out with, first of all, I'm going to look at this as having 2 containers. We have one container that this contains 3/4 cups of creamer, and that has 12% of that 3/4 cups is actually fat. So that's 12% fat right there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add that to another container that has 2.5 cups of just coffee. When we add those two together, we're going to get a final mixture that has so many cups and a certain percentage of fat in it. So first of all, let's figure out how many cups of liquid we actually have. So the total liquid is going to be the 3/4 cups plus the 2.5 cups of coffee. So that's your creamer and your coffee added up. And if we convert these to decimals and add, we get 3.25 cups. All right, so that's how many cups we actually have over here in our mixture. And then we're going to figure out our percentage of fat. What we need to do is take the part of this that is the fat and divide that by the whole, the entire amount of liquid we have. So this is the part we still need to figure out. What part of this mixture is fat? So I'm going to come back over here and look at these two individually. First of all, for this one, we have no fat in the coffee. So we are going to say we have 2.5 cups at 0% fat. We're adding that to the 3/4 cups of the creamer that is 12% fat. So now we need to run through this. When we multiply this all out and get an answer, this is going to be the part of our mixture that is fat. So we'll do that this is 3/4, or actually, let's just go to decimal right now. This is going to be 0.75, and then converting the percentage to a decimal, 0.12. And then plus, over here, we're going to get some number times 0, so that's just going to go away. So here, I need to determine what this is on my calculator. So unfortunately, I've got to erase this over here so I can get to this. And let me bring up the calculator. So I'm doing 0.75 times 0.12. And so this will be 0.09. All right, so that's how many cups of fat there are in this mixture. So I can come over here, I'll write that the part of this that's fat is 0.09 cups of fat, divided by our whole, which was our total number of cups in the mixture, which is 3.25 cups. And again, going to the calculator, units are going to cancel. 0.09 divided by 3.25. We get 0.027. We'll round this 6 up to a 7. So this is going to be an approximation at this point. And then we'll convert that over to a percentage. So moving 2 places to the right, 2.77%. That is the percent of fat in our coffee after adding the creamer. Okay, on this next question, we're going to kind of have a similar problem, but you're going to notice in the wording here something's different. So first of all, it says there are 2 liters of 3% milk, which is mixed with some 1% low-fat milk. So they're not telling us how much of this 1% low-fat milk we're mixing the 3% milk with. But they're telling us if there are 7 liters of the mixture total at the end, how many liters of the 1% low-fat milk were there? And then what percentage of the fat what is the percentage of the fat in this 7-liter mixture? So I'm going to go with some pictures again here. We have 2 liters of 3% milk. So here's my container. It contains 2 liters of 3% milk, which means that we have 3% fat there in that milk, the 2 liters of milk here. And then we're going to mix it with some other 1% milk, but we don't know how many liters there are. There's X liters here. We're not sure what that is, but this is our 1% fat milk. And when we mix these together, we get a final mixture. We know that that mixture contains 7 liters. And we're asked, what is the percentage of fat in this one, in this final mixture? So first of all, we can determine pretty easily how many liters of the 1% fat milk are there by using the fact that if we have 7 liters total, then that means 2 plus X had to be 7, and that means X must be 5. So we know that there are 5 liters of this mixture. So going back to what we have kind of been doing, if we want to find the percentage, I'm going to call it P here so we don't confuse it with the X there. It's going to be the part of this that's fat divided by the whole. We know that the whole mixture contains 7 liters. So how many liters of fat are in here? So just as we did before, we're going to figure out how many liters of fat come from this, and then how many liters of fat come from this. And remember, this X we now know is 5. So 2 liters times 3% fat means 2 liters times 0.03, converting our percentage to a decimal, and we're adding to that 5 liters of 0.01, so that's our 1% converted to a decimal. We're going to add this up. This is going to give us the total liters of fat we have in our final mixture. So I'll bring up our calculator for this. I keep putting this in the wrong place. So let's do this. Our P is our part over our whole, which we said was 7 liters. All right, so we've got 2 times 0.03 plus 5 times 0.01. So at the end of this, we get 0.11 liters of fat. So our final result here is 0.11 liters of fat divided by the whole, which was 7 liters. Again, units will cancel. I'll go to my calculator. I'm going to take 0.11 divided by 7, and we get 0.0157. I'm going to, again, stop here, so I'm going to approximate this. And then converting that over to a percentage, we get 1.57%.